Nouns in Afrikaans are known as selfstandige naamwoorde, and that is the part of speech that we will discuss. Another way to recognize a noun of a selfstandige naamwoord is if it has an article or a lidwoord in front of it. So the two that in Afrikaans that we use is die en a. Die is a specific article, die hond, and then a is not specific, and that is a hond, so it can be any dog. When we use selfstandige naamwoorde with a numeral, a telwoord, then we need to remember that the massa or maatnaam, measurement, unit of measurement, does not get a plural. For example, die pak lekker goed weeg 3 kilogram. The packet of sweets weighs 3 kilograms, but in Afrikaans, we do not make it into a plural. So we don't double the M and put an E on, and we don't put an S on. However, remember that in language and in the test and the exam, we look at the language in the context that it is given. So that what does the sentence say? And for example, in this one, where you say, ag nee, and that's your tussenwerpsel, jy bly kilometers van die skool af. Here we want to emphasize how far you stay from the school. There is no telwoord in front of it. Then you may use the unit of measurement in plural. So So plurals in Afrikaans is Meervoude. You have to know the terminology because in the exams, the instruction will tell you that you have to put this word into the correct form. It might mention meervoud, meer meaning more, and fout is the multiple. So meervoud as opposed to enkelvoud. What we also need to remember is that only nouns can be put into the plural or the diminutive. So get your pens and paper ready. We're going to go through the rules. It is written in Afrikaans, but I will narrate it in English as we go through the notes. So our very first rule, and it's a standard spelling rule in Afrikaans, is that we need to keep the sound short. So kat has a short vowel sound. To keep it short, we double the consonant and put an E on. If the same short sound, vowel sound exists, but it ends on an F, we change the F to a W and put an E on. So the fact that we are doubling the consonant keeps the vowel as a short sound. Our next spelling rule is that when it is a long vowel sound and it's got the same vowels, W, double A, double O, we drop the one vowel and we put a E on. In so doing, we then keep the U and the sound as a long sound. Vuur, vure. Similarly, if it's a long vowel and it ends on an F, we drop the one vowel, change the F to a W, and we put an E at the end. That way, again, we keep it a long sound. So if you listen to the difference, stof, stowwe, stoof, stove. Words that end on an L, M, N, R, you add an S. And words with long vowels or a diphthong, they just get an E. So also note that they could be 3 vowels together and you add an E. Right, now we go on to where it ends on a vowel, right, and you add an E. And when it ends on an F. So that we can see is a repeated pattern, and it always ends on an F. We put a W and then an E. Right, if there's a double consonant at the end of the word, in the case of presenter, there's an N and a T, we just put the E. Short words that end on an NG, we add an E, while longer words like koning, we add an S. So there is more than one lettergreep associated with this word. Words that end on an ing, you can either put the S or the E, both would be correct. Words that have an A in front of a G, like vlag or dag, you take the G away and you add an E. And remember, no deeltekens. If your word ends on an heit, it changes to hede. Please remember there's no I. The I falls away and you add the E. Words that end on K, G, and P usually get a TE, but not always. If you look at the example of kas, it's kaste. Then words that end on I, O, and U, and an emphasized A will get afkappings or an apostrophe S. But look at nota. So the A is not has an emphasis, and therefore just gets an S and no apostrophe. Words that end on a G, the G falls away, and we add an E, but a deelteken E. Vlieg, vlieg. There are exceptions, and these are commonly asked due to the big changes in them. So learn those well, especially pad, that becomes paaie, and stad, stede, skip, en skepe. Also look at eetding en speelding, word speel goed. How are they asked in the exams? The instruction will read that you need to change the word that is in brackets. Remember, that is always the word that you work with, to the correct form. Some instances, they will tell you that it must be in the meervoude. If they don't tell you, then you need to recognize it. And very often, there's a word in front of the brackets to tell you what you need to do. In this case, it would be baie, heelwat, klomp. And then you know you need to change the word in brackets to the meervoude. You look at the word, you see that there are 2 consonants at the end, an N and a D, and my rules then say I have to add an E. Copy and paste this following link into your web browser and take the quiz to see if you have mastered meervoude.